Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. We've got a great show lined up for you today. More football picks today than I think maybe we've ever had on this show. So go ahead and smash the like button. Aaron Bailey, Brad Morris, Mark M is in here, M3 Baller, Charlie Kennedy. We have a great show lined up. Let's see how we did yesterday on the recap screen. We go 3-4 with one bet pending. Of course, a lot of this turned on the Ole Miss money line play, which was plus 150, and the Ole Miss plus 3.5 from Mike and Tom. Tom does hit his Mark Fletcher over rushing yards prop. We split the sports line plays. And again, EC's parlay is pending. So this 3-4 could turn into 4-4 depending on what happens in Indiana, Oregon tonight. We got a lot of Indiana, Oregon to talk about on this show. We got a lot of NFL wildcard picks to talk on this show. Soccer, some of your questions, some sports line picks. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It's BPE Friday. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. We got Danny Brasco. We got Will Brinson. We got buckets. We got links, Patterson, Sony stuff coming next week, folks. And of course, Chip is the author of the first half cash, courtesy of the Miami Hurricanes, who are now in the final. Chip, how about a little chip me up?
Good morning, see you. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Brinson. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Hedge fam. And good morning to Sean Taylor, RIP. Good morning to Andre Johnson. Good morning to Vince Wilfork. Good morning to Ed Reed. Good morning to Frank Gore. Good morning to Clinton Portis. Good morning to Ken Dorsey. Sure, there's a number 11 that's scoring game-winning touchdowns out there. Shout out to the U, because they left the Big East, joined the ACC, and they've been just bumping their heads every single year on the ceiling. They've had talent. They haven't been able to get it done. They've been getting in their way. And I tell you what, when they dropped 1, 2, 3, 4 interceptions, I mean, it was like a greasy watermelon out there. When they were committing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 penalties after having 0 penalties the week before, I was like, well, this is how you lose. This is how you lose. Like, you blow it right here. But no, Lucy did not take that football away. They kicked it. Congratulations to the Canes. They are playing for the national championship. They truly, like, just a little bit of like actual talk here. The Miami Hurricanes started as a top 10 team, right? And they finished as the number 10 team. It is not crazy in a 12-team college football playoff era that the difference between the 10 and the 1 is not that much anymore. Mm-hmm. And so this is what we get with the expanded playoff. They took out Ohio State, brackets wide open. Now they've got a chance to go play for the national championship in their home stadium. We'll see who against. We got some picks for that. Fired up for it.
Well, Brinson, I want to go to you, but I just want to give a shout out to Chip for all of that, but also for leading with Sean Taylor. You might notice Santana Moss over my left shoulder. He's holding up the 21 for his friend Sean Taylor. So I love that you led with that. Brinson, go ahead.
I was just gonna say can you imagine being Chip's the kids going to school? Think about the hype speech. Are you ready for some preschool? The two, the idea that Miami could not make the ACC championship game and then win the national title is pretty wild. It says a lot about the ACC.
Well, Ohio State last year. Ohio State did not play for the conference championship and won the
national title. Brady Quinn, who sucks now, Brady Quinn? Who sucks now? That's why you don't put Notre Dame in there.
Buckets, can you possibly match the energy that just came before you?
Oh, absolutely not. I also just want to say I don't do a lot of shows with Brinson and Chip at the same time. It's like just a foreign language to me. Like, Chip just said hi to 8 different people. I thought he was making up names. I was about to start rattling off. It's fun listening to people talk about stuff you don't know about with that level of passion and energy, because it kind of gets you excited even though you have no idea what the hell's happening.
Yeah, with that in mind, we'll get to your soccer pick in just a second. Danny Brasco! Danny Brasco, how you doing today? And are you here? Again, UFC on a bit of a hiatus. You've got some football picks again for us today.
January 24th. Circle that date. I'm wearing my Fighting Nerds shirt. It can't come soon enough, but for now, we have playoff football. See you. Fire me up. Whoa! I got some Saturday and Sunday picks for us because it's round 1.
All right, we're going to start off with some soccer. I've never felt a greasy watermelon. Now I feel like I have to, says Pogo Picks. You're right.
4th of July at the pool?
That's
you guys 4th of July, like at the pool game.
If you guys ever watch the show, If you ever watched the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's an episode about one half of their friend group is getting into the ritzy, fancy pool. The other half is slumming it. They're doing the public pool. They don't care. And Danny DeVito throws out greasy watermelon in the public pool. And then the ritzy people just turn their head like, this is disgusting. But that's
there's also like the classic, like, you throw a ton of, I almost said S-ton. Wow. You throw a ton of beer into the pool. You and for the kids, obviously, you do like sodas and stuff, and then you have to put on blindfolded goggles and go around and you grab as much beer as you can. There's a photo of me somewhere shirtless, like wading through with like 72 cans of beer, like fending off other dads. It may be my personal model. And children, just body bagging children. Yeah,
Two things. One, shout out to Charlie Kennedy in the chat who says Ken's hit another fourth quarter over. Believe it or not, we have a fourth quarter play in this Indiana-Oregon game that you're going to be interested in that we'll get to later on in the show. Also, I want the chat to respond to the following. I am on record. I did the sitcom bracket with Pat Mayo and many others. I'm on record as saying It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is overrated. So I need the chat to help me out. Just put overrated or underrated. Maybe you want to put properly rated, but let's take a stand here. Overrated or underrated in the chat as it pertains to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Let's finally get to some picks. Buckets, kick us off with the pitch.
See, I've only got one bet for us today, but before I get into that one bet, I want to give a couple warnings because we have two big matches this afternoon as we welcome back the German Bundesliga and Spain's La Liga is playing. We have Getafe versus Real Sociedad and Frankfurt versus Dortmund. I would not bet on either of these. The German Bundesliga is coming back from a month-long holiday break. It should, on paper, be a really big game, but these teams are going to be rusty, and all weekend long, you're going to see unders dominate in the Bundesliga, which I am not smart enough or handsome enough to bet on, so I'm just staying away from these. And for Getafe Real Sociedad, the over-under set to 1.5, and that always scares me in football. So I'm going to stay off of these. There's probably some money to be had, but just be careful on those. Now, for the actual bet, we've got the FA Cup this afternoon, and I'm looking at the matchup between Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham. I think it's Ryan Reynolds, right? Wrexham?
Yeah, you got it.
There we go. Cool.
Well,
Taking
also
on
Always Sunny connection here.
Rob McElhenney, baby.
Yeah.
Rob McElhenney.
I did that on purpose. I know who that is. And Rob McElhenney, baby, taking on Nottingham Forest. And this is a very frustrating match because we have to have that conversation that we don't like to have as Americans, that some teams just don't want to win, and some teams might even kind of purposely lose a little bit here. Nottingham Forest are the much better team. They are a league above Wrexham. They're the better team on paper, but their coach has made it very clear that their focus is staying in the Premier League. Their focus is not getting relegated, and they don't really care about any side distractions, about anything else going on, which means they're probably going to rotate their squad here. Nottingham Forest still maybe should win this, but I would not bet on their money line. Instead, we all knew where this was going. Both teams' scores priced beautifully at minus 125. I love this because Wrexham, when playing at home in Championship, have the highest both teams to hit their score hit rate in the entire league. It is hit in 77% of their home matches this season. Their manager has gone on paper saying they're going to play their best starting 11. They plan on taking home every piece of silverware they can. I don't hate a sprinkle on Wrexham 1.5 team total at big plus numbers, plus 180 as well here, but play both teams to score because even if Nottingham Forest does rotate, their backups are good enough to get a goal. Just stay off of that money line, and I'd stay off the over here too because I just think it's going to be cagier than people are expecting, but always take both teams to score when you see Wrexham play at home.
All right, we're taking both teams to score at minus 125. Speaking of always doing things, let's always hit the like button right when we get in here. If for nothing else, that opening from Chip and Will Brinson was unbelievable. We got a lot of properly underrated from I don't know that I see an overrated on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia quite yet. Eric David says properly rated. Brasco, go ahead.
Well, I think the sentiment, if you feel is overrated, might be what other people that don't love the show is like, it's extremely crude. It's abrasive. That's their character, is that it's supposed to piss you off. They're all horrible people. And one person plays like the straight man per show where someone's like, hey, grounds it in reality. But they're supposed to be awful. So if that just upsets you just from the get-go, then you might not like the humor. But if you can get past that, then the jokes and the commentary on society are perfect, I think. I think it's a very well-rated show, and it's excellent. There's a reason they went for 20 seasons.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's still going.
Let's go to, speaking of still going, Brinson, we got to get, like, you're going to be still going in a second because you've got a lot of NFL picks. So talk to me. I mean, I don't know how, if you want to break it up, you can, but talk to me about some of your NFL picks that you got on the early edge.
Yeah, I was walking my trusty dog, George, the wonky-eyed spaniel, who seemingly just won't move on to the next life. Just kidding. I love George. He's asleep somewhere. He's had like 40 pieces of bacon this morning, chugging a giant Celsius and firing out picks and parlays.
The dog is chugging Celsius?
Look, you got to do what you got to do to get this dog to George will eat anything, man. George is a trash panda. I have a college pick that I'll just gloss over real quickly because like there's the analysis on this is pretty simple. Kirk Cignetti is coaching Indiana. And I think Dan Lanning's like an incredible coach. And I think Oregon's really good. But Google me, I win. Kirk Cignetti wins. And Kirk Cignetti wins big and he thumps people. And this Indiana team, they're just going to win this game by double digits. So I will take Google me, I win, Kirk Cignetti and Indiana to roll on Friday night. As far as the NFL goes, I got 3 picks. If you go to cbssports.com right now, I've got an article up with a pick for every single game, a player prop for every single game, and an anytime touchdown score for every single game that you can check out. But 3 picks that I like specifically will start, and I hate to fade our Carolina Panthers here, Chip, but the Los Angeles Rams are going to curb stomp Carolina in this spot. Carolina is probably the worst playoff team to make the postseason in the last 20 years. The Rams played them in Charlotte earlier this year and lost outright somehow. If you look at the box score, it's pretty fluky. Matthew Stafford was about to go up 14-0, really forced the Panthers to become one-dimensional, get a tip ball, an interception in the end zone. It was a sloppy game in terms of weather. And the Rams are getting Devontae Adams back here. They came out in week 18 and played their starters for the full game against Arizona just to show what they can do when they're at maximum capacity. And I think you're going to see Los Angeles come out and sling it all over the place, pound the ball down Carolina's throat, force Bryce Young to throw the ball a bunch. It's going to go poorly for the Panthers, and I think the Rams win by double digits. The Chargers-Pats under, it's actually creeped down to 45.5. I still like it. It's just wrong. Mike Vrabel and Jim Harbaugh are they both want a rock fight, particularly in the playoffs. Justin Herbert will be under a lot of pressure. He's going to use his legs a lot, love his rushing props. And then I think Travion Henderson is the possible X factor to bust this total open. But in general, these two teams are going to run the ball, dink and dunk it, not take too many chances down the field against opportunistic defenses because possessions in this spot are going to be key. And you just don't see either of these teams, these coaches in particular, like crank it up in terms of offense in the playoffs. So I think this under should be like 44.5. 45.5 is fine under for that. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Like Josh Allen's definitely better than Trevor Lawrence in a vacuum, but has he been better than Trevor Lawrence over the last month? No. And if you even those guys out and just say, all right, like they play at a baseline level, and even give it to Josh Allen if you want. The Jaguars, but the rest of it, the Jaguars are just a way better team. Their receiving options are way better. Parker Washington coming on like crazy. Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't even been exploited. Brenton Strange healthy. Jacoby Myers, the legend, NC State legend, playing his ass off for the Jaguars. And then defensively, the Jaguars they can stop the run, which is what the Bills want to do, is run the football. And the Bills can't stop anybody against the run. Travis Etienne should go wild here. He and Trevor Lawrence have just had unbelievable seasons. And I think Jacksonville, shout out Duval. Shout out to my Aunt Susan who will be there. My Uncle Rick and the Broder boys. Jacksonville, Duval County, going to get it done and beat the Bills outright. I'll take the 1.5 in case there's like a field goal at the end.
Yeah, I tend to lean Jags as well. Brasco, I know one of those picks was near and dear to your heart, and I know you're laughing about something, so please tell me what you're laughing about, but also about your Rams pick from earlier in the week.
I'm just picturing running into Brinson and his cronies like, hey, you ran into the Burger Boys. Cough it up, just the last gang you want to see in a Dairy Queen parking lot.
My Aunt Susan actually wears a Trevor Lawrence wig to every single Jaguars game. They're like season ticket holders. They go to every single game, and she rocks a Trevor Lawrence wig. It actually kind of looks like Trevor Lawrence, which I don't know if that's like a compliment to Susan or Trevor.
Susan.
Yeah.
Any follow-up on the Rams minus 10.5, Brasco?
Obviously, yeah, that first one I'm hammering with Brinson. I got the 10, but I don't mind the 10.5 because I agree with him. I think they're going to win the game by 20 plus. Like he said, worst playoff team potentially ever in NFL history. I mentioned this stat a number of times. Negative 69-point differential. It's the worst mark that any team has ever gotten into the playoffs on. They scored 14 or less in 8 games. the Rams can just blow the door off you. If they can't hang with them, if it can't be another fluky tipped interception kind of game, I don't see how the Rams don't win by double digits. They're in another class.
All right, let's talk about maybe boosting some of our bets here, courtesy of BetMGM. We'll start with college football, and we've got more college football from Chip in terms of official picks on the show. BetMGM players will receive a college football playoff odds boost. Use the boost on tonight's IU-Oregon game, and you'll score extra winnings if your boosted bet hits. Only at BetMGM. Also, this weekend, you can also get your stake back in cash. If your first touchdown scores second instead, bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Again, that's courtesy of BetMGM. How about some SportsLine picks? We've got a few here, and I think a couple of these dated from Tuesday. We've got Brady Cannon and Jeff Hockman on the Chargers plus 3.5. So we're kind of all in on the Chargers here, it looks like. NFL, we got DeAndre Swift over 59.5 rushing yards at minus 115. That one from Larry Hartstein. And Jalen Hurts, this is interesting, from RJ White. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 touchdown passes at plus 100. That's even money on Hurts to throw 2+ touchdown passes. Sorry, we got to circle back to the comments for sure. A lot of questions that we're going to get to, but we also got to get to this Indiana-Oregon game and Chip's picks. We're going to do that right after this message from our partners.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. The highlight machine collides with the Liverpool phenom, and the Hall of Famer returns to take on the bantamweight champion. UFC 324, Saturday, January 24th, only on Paramount Plus.
Nobody likes a first half play like Chip likes a first half play. He cashed one yesterday. And Chip, you've got one today, but you've also got a play on the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your plays.
I mean, listen, if you've been around at all, you understand what happens when the Indiana Hoosiers are out there playing football. Because just as Kurt Signetti detailed at the Peach Bowl media availability this week, one of the reasons why he is so stoic is that he wants to create the consistency. If he's going to ask his players to bring the same amount of energy and attention on play 1 as play 150, then he needs to bring the same amount of energy and attention in play 1 to play 150. He can't be high-fiving the other coaches. No, because when you play through the whistle, when you take it 4 quarters, what do we say when it's Indiana? You smoke it through the filter. Indiana, the fourth quarter, has been an absolute ATM ever since Coach Sig took over. And so on the biggest stage and one of the biggest games, we are going to stay with our principles. So we are, once again, on Indiana in the fourth quarter to outscore the Oregon Ducks, just the same way as they were doing it against Alabama in a game that was over at halftime. Did they let off the gas? No. Did they put in Alberto for Fernando? Yes. Did that matter? No. They still outscored them in the fourth quarter. So we're going back to our principles. You dance with the date that brought you. Indiana fourth quarter. We've been riding high. We've been singing it from the mountaintops. We continue. But you mentioned the first half, because I do think that in this particular game, there is going to be the early rounds of a boxing match type feel to it, because Oregon is one of the best teams in the country at limiting explosive plays. It was the way that they shut down Texas Tech and they held them to 0 points in their Orange Bowl win. Now, do I think Fernando Mendoza is a better quarterback than Texas Tech's Baron Morton? Yes, by leaps, bounds, and rounds, as in Fernando's going in the first, and we'll see if Baron Morton makes a practice squad. So do I think that there's going to be a little bit of scoring for Indiana? Yeah, but what about the other side of this? Because we've got Jordan Davison, who's your short line and your goal line option in the running back room for Oregon. He's going to be out of this game. And did you guys check your injury reports? Because Noah Whittington, the junior leader in that running back room, has now popped up as questionable. His availability is in doubt. I mean, we are a little bit starting to hit our pets' heads are falling off level for whether Oregon can be anything close to 100% in terms of availability in this game. I think that shows up with a game where Oregon is trying to lean on the ground game, keep it lower scoring. And see, you asked me to tease what I'm looking at. I said that this is going to be football with hammers, that this is going to be violence. This is going to be such a collision of force at the point of attack every single down. It's going to play out a little bit like that, Indiana-Ohio State Big Ten championship game. Remember, 13-10 in that one. Or how about the fact that Oregon against Texas Tech, what was that halftime score? 6-0. I just think that there is going to be that similar vibe here. Now, I don't mind the full game under as well. And I understand that we've got a CLV chip line value situation where I liked the under at 46.5 and I liked the under at 47.5, and that thing's moving the wrong direction, right? Oh, no. The Sharps like the other side. Sharps are wrong 40% of the time, and that's a Steph Curry three-pointer. And if you're comfortable with Steph Curry taking a three-pointer, then you should feel comfortable standing on the opposite side of the Sharps. So, yeah, I like the under at 46.5, 47.5, 48.5. Run it up as much as you want, Sharps. But my best bet's going to be the first half under as they feel each other out in the ring.
All right, a couple bets from Chip Patterson. Brasco, I want to get to your plays, but Buckets, we've got a lot of soccer questions in the chat. First of all, speaking of NBA, shout out to Better Days Ahead. He says, OKC Memphis first half over 113 at -110. Buckets, your thoughts on Wrexham double chance -120?
I am a fan of that. I think this is going to end in a draw, and then I think we're going to have to deal with the repercussions after regulation time. But I do like a 1-1 scoreline, maybe even a 2-2 scoreline if it gets a little bit frisky. I'm going against the Sharps here, completely original analogy. They're wrong 40% of the time, and that's a Steph Curry three-pointer. So I'm okay being on the other end of that.
That was perfect, Chip. Dylan Barakat. I was hoping that was Baccarat, but it's not. Under 2, and my gambling eyes see Baccarat. Under 2.5 La Liga game and under 3.5 German game for +107 Buckets.
I'm going to answer this, and I'll answer Charlie's questions as well, if that's okay. This is the way you should play those games today, and I think this is a great shout, especially buying up that Getafe line from 1.5 to 2.5. I really like this look, especially at plus odds. I'm not going to bet it, but I think it probably hits.
All right,
and then
go ahead.
Charlie's question real quick. He's asking about AFCON today. The match that I would look at in terms of betting, at least, is Mali versus Senegal. Senegal is one of the best teams outside of Morocco. They've looked incredible, and their front three are three of the best attacking guys in all of AFCON right now. The problem is Mali have qualified for this round by doing nothing but drawing. All 4 of their matches in AFCON have ended 1-1, 0-0, 1-1, 1-1. This team is playing not to lose, which can be frustrating. I think that Senegal is going to finally be that team that kind of pushes through them a little bit, especially with those front three. Senegal first half goal is -110. Senegal 1.5 team total is -120. I like both of those.
San Francisco 49er wants your best NFL bet. Buckets, you might not have that. They want your best NFL bet, Buckets. But did you at least sign up for the splashsports.com early edge challenge here?
I did. I can just read off my winners if that's fine.
Yeah, sure. Why not? You have it in front of you?
Yeah, I got it in front of me. I got Texans -2.5, 49ers +4.5, Patriots -3.5, Jaguars +1.5, Panthers +10.5, which I think you all said was terrible, and then Bears +1.5.
I mean, you'll be ahead of everybody because that's a lot of contrarian picks there. If you haven't already, sign up. It's free, and there's $5,000 on the line. We'll go through the playoffs. $1,500 to first place, $1,000 to second place, and on down the line to 10th place. I don't know why everybody wouldn't sign up for this. Splashsports.com/early edge. If you're already in the Splash Sports app, you just type in CBS Sports, and you'll see that the contest will populate and pop up. But again, Wildcard Weekend Pick'em, sponsored by the Early Edge and Splash Sports. It's available to you. Splashsports.com/early edge. It's free. It's so free, and it's so incredibly easy too.
Yeah, like you go in and you press you basically have to press 13, maybe I guess technically 17 because you have to pick a best bet too. 17 buttons over the course of a month.
Yeah,
and you can win $1,500
right
for free.
And incredible bragging rights, by the way. We only have 550 people in it, which is actually a lot. But I really don't know why we don't have 1,500 people in this contest. Buckets, go ahead.
I said it to my buddy, and he's like, man, it just seems too complicated. Guys, I signed up in less than 5 minutes. Complicated is not an excuse on this one. You got to go look at the contest.
It's incredible.
I use Splash Sports for golf one and dones. And it is one of and Survivors. It is one of the easiest, most seamless apps to use. They bought Office Football Pool and everything. They integrated everything. It's very easy to use. There's no excuse not to at least just randomize these picks.
Yeah.
And try to win $1,500.
Absolutely. Jerry Mercury says Steelers money line. Let's get back to the NFL, Brasco. You've got a couple of picks. One is a familiar pick because we have it from our Tuesday plays. Brady Cannon and Jeff Hockman both liked the Chargers. You like them as well.
Yeah, Brady, Jeff, if you don't mind, I'll join the party. Chargers +3.5. I'm taking 3 in the hook for the quarterback with the playoff experience here. It's a little scary standing in front of this 14-win Patriots team who have superseded expectations. Drake May probably deserves the MVP. Mike Vrabel could be coach of the year. They've been fantastic. They made it work with sort of I don't want to say ragtag, but a less than wide receiver core. It just continues to be excellent. But I'm going to poke some holes. I'm going to take some credit away from a team that deserves all the credit in the world. They are being called, their strength of schedule is being called perhaps the easiest in the last 25 years. There's been some teams this season with some easy strength of schedule. The Niners, the Bills, they had good paths. The Patriots, especially based on the quarterbacks that they ended up playing, it's been actually ridiculous. Let me read you the list because they faced one team with a winning record this season, the Bills. Here's some of the quarterbacks they ended up playing. Tyler Huntley, Spencer Rattler, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, Brady Cook. Okay, then they face some starters. Rookie Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, Justin Fields the second time they played the Jets. It's been an ugly mix of QBs there. And, again, they played who they played, and they've done extremely well. But it's been on the back of Drake May's explosive plays. His deep ball accuracy has been amazing. What does Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, do best? He takes away explosives. This is a bet on the Chargers defense. They have really turned up. Since week 10, they're second in EPA per play. They're just locking down. He is as dialed in as ever. And the concern for me, of course, is the Chargers offensive line and they're just snake bit bad luck in franchise history. I mean, Herbert's had some playoff woes in his couple starts. But I think that the experience advantage going through that adversity can help them here. I think it's going to be an ugly, perhaps low-scoring game like Brinson alluded to. And I'm going to take more than a field goal against a guy making his playoff debut in just his second year. So, Patriots are, like I said, they've superseded expectations, but perhaps they come back a little bit, regress a little bit here, and maybe pull it off by field goal. But I don't think they should be laying more than the field goal. So, yeah, I'll take that all day. And then there's a total I have to play here. It's the under in the 49ers versus Eagles. The Eagles are a must-under bet team right now. This whole season, they really have been. But you take a look at these teams, you say, Brasco, the Niners offense can run it up. The Niners defense, who are they going to stop? Down goes Tatum Bethune now. I mean, they have no one at linebacker, it seems like, with no D. Winters, no Fred Warner. They get no pressure on the quarterback. How are they going to stop the Eagles? Guys, the Eagles won 2 games this season in which they didn't complete a pass in the second half. This offense goes to sleep sometimes. Kevin Patullo, I've been very critical of him all year. Whether you want to blame Jalen Hurts or Patullo, it's a combination of both. I think Patullo has a bad coaching matchup against Robert Saleh, who can really, I think, lock them down maybe in the red zone, force field goals instead of touchdowns. On the opposite end, Vic Fangio, 5 times he's faced Kyle Shanahan, whether as defensive coordinator versus OC or head coach, what have you. They've squared off 5 times. Shanahan's offense has never put up more than 15 points against Fangio. So I think they're really going to limit each other here. This is going to be outdoors. The Niners had a chance to play through the Super Bowl in San Fran. They lost the 1 seed to Seattle in a game that went way under the total. And now they go outdoors. Playoff games, outdoor wild card games that have a total above 44, 31-10 to the under. And I think that's what we're going to see here. The Niners go zone heavy. That's how you beat Hurts. Bend, don't break. So as bad as they've been, as injury-ridden as they are, Saleh can go zone, give up field goals. And on the other end, I think this Eagles defense can give the Niners some problems. There's a lot of injuries, too. Will Trent Williams play? Will Lane Johnson play? Will Ricky Pearsall play? I don't see points in this one, Sia.
I totally agree with the lack of points. I think we're going to see a lot of long drives from Philly. And just like 49ers were able to do against Seattle, they limited Seattle to 13 points. I mean, like Seattle obviously could have scored a lot more. But, I mean, I think the bend, don't break from San Fran is their only way to win this. The only way for San Fran to win this game is to get into the fourth quarter with a 1-score game and somehow score or force a turnover from Jalen Hurts or somebody like Saquon Barkley. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I was just going to say that line jumped up to 5.5 this morning, which is kind of terrifying if you want to back, if you want to back the Niners, you're like, oh, great, I get more points. But, the movement from 3.5 to 5.5 is significant. I would also say, if you're betting totals this weekend, because every single one of these games is outdoors. If you're betting totals this weekend, my strategy would just be play all 6 unders. Mm-hmm. And I would bet you go 4-2 worst case.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Wild card round under is very profitable. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of wind in some of these games. 10+ mile per hour winds, also another under system play. So I would agree.
The Saturday games.
I was going to say the game, the 2 game, I like the over in the Rams game a little bit just because I think Carolina will be forced to throw. And then the weather, if you're going to take overs, the Jags Bills is probably too high, but the weather should be fine in the South this weekend. It looks really nice in Charlotte. And I think Jacksonville, maybe a little bit of precipitation, but not much.
Yeah, and the Chicago Green Bay game has a chance for some wind and some rain, maybe some snow. So those Saturday games are the ones that are more wind affected. We're actually going to talk about that on the Prop Show at 3:00 today. Me, Claudia, Dave Richard, and of course Prop Stars. We'll be doing that at 3:00 on the SportsLine YouTube channel. Chip, real quick question, and Brasco, I'll get right back to you, and we might have some soccer questions remaining 2 buckets before we get out of here. But I'm just curious. I was listening. I was watching Cover 3 last night. You guys up late after the Miami game. I was watching sort of the end of the show, and you guys were talking about what the look-ahead lines might be like, and I just went and checked them out because most books have them. They are bettable right now. Any thoughts on, just to get ahead of it, any thoughts on the look-ahead if Indiana wins, 5.5-point spread, Indiana favored by 5.5, and if Oregon wins, 2.5-point favorite. Of course, Oregon would be favored in that case by 2.5.
Yeah, if it's Oregon, I would love Miami there. Like Miami money line, Miami points. If it is Indiana, especially first of all, if it's Indiana and Indiana wins and covers, 5.5 might turn into 6.5, like running out close to 7. And you're going to be like, how in the world are you going to lay all those points against Miami in Miami? I mean, the place is going to be absolutely bonkers. But
yeah, just like most Miami home games, but it's always packed. And I agree. It will be.
Yeah, like this is it. It's bringing the fee. It was easier to get. I mean, not surprising, but the tickets for the national championship game were being bought up by Miami fans before the Fiesta Bowl kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that by looking at sort of the pricing market and talking to some people around the Miami football program. I mean, it's very simple. Buy the tickets because you live there, so flipping them is not impossible, right? And
it's Super Bowl level prices to get into that game right now. It's like $3,500 for like lowest price into that game. Which is wild.
Yeah. It's going to be like a little bit almost too much to handle, and I wonder if that's bad for Miami. Like we talk about them being road warriors. They haven't played a home game since November 17th. I wonder if the home game might be home field disadvantage. So I would take Miami against Oregon. I would take Indiana against Miami at the numbers as they are currently lined out.
So Ben needs to come on the show to give out a producer pick. He also says in the chat, the Natties should be in Bloomington. If IU wins, they should have to play in the elements. Ben, you can go ahead and lobby for that. But how about you lobby for your producer pick, my friend?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit to the to Chip's first half underplay because I do like the Oregon team total under 22.5. And I think you can get that at about -110 at some places. I just think, again, we saw this Oregon-Indiana game way back when, earlier this year. Indiana won 30-20. Oregon only scored 13 offensive points in that game. They had a pick 6, which made them get to 20 points. They are just a team that when they play good defenses, they don't score a lot. They played Iowa on the road, 18 points. They played Texas Tech, and they got a garbage time touchdown, which put their total over this number. But before that, they were at like 16 points. So I think Dante Moore does struggle sometimes against good defenses. And Indiana, for everything that they do, they are really good at preventing teams from scoring, even when teams cross over the 50-yard line. But the stat I found, which is amazing, is that their defensive success rate, their quality drive rate, is second in the country. Only 21% of teams that they face are able to cross over into Indiana's 40-yard line and up and get a first down. Only 21%. They are just really good when it going gets tough, when teams are driving on them. They're really good at stopping those drives. And I don't think anything is really going to change from that game that we saw earlier this season to this game. And Chip mentioned it. It's consistency. Indiana's so consistent that I just don't see a way that they're going to be any different than how they've played this season, which is tough-nosed defense. They're going to get to Dante Moore. I don't see Oregon getting over this 22.5-point mark. Maybe it's 17, 18 points, but over 20 is going to be really, really tough for them.
I mean, they could. Like, if Indiana loses this game, Indiana plays down.
Yeah.
You know, like if they play out of character. And Oregon's just too hurt right now. I mean, this is like, take it all the way back to the beginning of the season. You know, Evan Stewart, your number 1 wide receiver, you lose him. You know, Gary Bryant's been out for a little bit. Tacorian Moore played in each of the 2 playoff games, but was not a factor whatsoever. You're down to potentially 2 running backs as well. I mean, this really would be, it would take Indiana playing down because Oregon, everybody fully healthy, is the more talented team, but they're not fully healthy right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, to beat Indiana, you have to run the ball. You have to be good at running the ball. And we saw Iowa almost beat them doing the same thing. And if Oregon's running back room is hurt, I don't think they're going to win just by passing the ball a bunch. So I really do like this team total under.
Yeah, another one also, it's a little bit more basic knuckle draggy counting stats, Ben, but number 1 in the country in red zone touchdown percentage. That means of all the times that opponents get into the red zone against Indiana's defense, they are better than anybody else at making sure you don't get in the end zone.
And it's an Outstanding rush defense as well. Brasco, I know you had some follow-up. You had a comment as well, but I want to read Scott Sneed's comment. He says, playoff Josh Allen over 7.5 rush attempts. I do like that. And Barkley longest rush over 17.5 yards. I like that as well. And I mentioned that yesterday on the early edge. Barkley, I'll tell everybody, sneak peek at the prop show at 3 o'clock on the SportsLine YouTube channel. He will be a focal point, or at least one of many focal points on that show. We have a lot to talk about in that game and as it pertains to Saquon Barkley props. So again, 3 o'clock on the SportsLine YouTube channel. Danny Brasco, go ahead. You had something, right?
Yeah, Justin King, right on cue. He says he's a little behind in the show. It's funny. I always watch it like different times, sometimes when I watch it back later. But he says as good as the Chargers defense has been, their offensive line has been much worse. And that's the concern if you're betting the LA Chargers with no Joe Walt and Rashawn Slater. Yeah. I will say this. The Patriots are 27th in pressure rate. Sacking the quarterback has not been their thing. So I think Herbert will have a chance to drop back. I think the run game will be okay. And speaking of which, Brinson mentioned that move in the Niners game from -3.5 all the way to -5.5 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That to me is probably indicative, and I'm not confirming this. I'm not a doctor, but like that probably means Trent Williams isn't playing because he's so crucial to their offense and setting everything up. That's huge. And that leads me to the final point, which was Big Cheesy saying, I'm looking forward to Max Crosby being a 49er next year. The Niners are second worst in pressure rate this season. Imagine a healthy Bosa and Max Crosby lining up together next year. Wow.
I mean, they're in San Francisco, though, so they'll both be injured by week 2. Exactly. It's just the unluckiest injury team of all time, I think.
It's either them, the Chargers, or the commies before Josh Harris showed up to town and like kicked the whole medical staff out.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not the electromagnetic field, right?
So I heard about that. I need to look into that a little bit more. But when Dre Greenlaw's running on the field in the Super Bowl,
do your own research on that one.
Yeah, it's the Hollow Moon
Is Chip an NFL injury truther? I didn't even know those people existed.
Buckets, I don't know if you have any conspiracy theories to levy on Levi Stadium, but there is a question from outside 1023. Buckets, is both teams to score in the Mali game good?
So that's that Mali-Senegal matchup where I've got Senegal scoring in the first half there. If Senegal does score first, like I think they will, I don't believe Mali will score at all in that game. Senegal's defense is absolutely insane right now. If they go up 1-0 early, maybe even 2-0 early if it's crazy, they're just going to shut everything down and no one's having fun the rest of the game. So I'm staying off of it. If Mali scores first, completely different scenario, but I would just be careful with that one.
Yeah, it's scenario. Yeah. It's scenario and Jaguar.
Buckets has said Jaguar and scenario so far in the show. 2 words we were debating on Wednesday's show. So just my mind is going.
Okay, we have an anytime touchdown parlay to give out, Will, as well. So I want to go to you, but there's also some people coming in late to the show. First of all, hit the like button, but that are like seeing the like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia comment that I made, which I understand is going to hurt some feelings. If you've got like a top 3 or a top 5 shows you want to put in the YouTube comments, put them in the YouTube comments. I always love looking at stuff like that. So again, top 5, whether it's sitcoms or just general shows, put them in the YouTube comments. Will Brinson, you're always splashing the pot. You're always sprinkling with some fun stuff. So
I'm very curious what your number 1 sitcom is, by the way. Please don't say Friends. If you say Friends,
no, it's not Friends. It's Frasier.
Frasier's sneaky good.
I've heard this. I need to get on it. I've heard it.
That was actually Frasier was on the television in the hospital when my son was born. Oddly enough, don't ask me why. Just Frasier reruns. That's all they had going on. So shout out Frasier. Shout out Robbie Brinson, who's at school hopefully right now. Still, or else we've got real problems. So anyway, all right. I got some touchdown scores as I mentioned. If you want a touchdown score for every single game, go check it out on CBSSports.com. I got 3 I like, and then I added a 4th for the parlay that I put on BetMGM. First of all, let's start with Colston Loveland, Bears tight end, rookie tight end out of Michigan. He got banged up. They drafted the first round over Tyler Warren, right? They clearly love him. Last 2 games of the year, 23 targets, 16 catches, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is a crazy finish to the season when the Bears were trying. This is with the same coach who had Sam Laporta as a rookie, who in the playoffs in 3 games with the Lions, 27 targets, 21 catches, 176 yards, and a touchdown. So we're going with Colston Loveland at plus 220. Trevor Lawrence, plus 185, since I put that on Sportsline on Monday afternoon at plus 195 has dropped 10 cents. 23 red zone rushing attempts and 9 rushing touchdowns this season, the best rushing season of his career. 9 rushing attempts inside the 5-yard line, 5 rushing touchdowns on those attempts. Do you know who else had 9 rushing attempts inside the 5-yard line this year? Like, I quadruple checked this because I didn't believe my eyes. He's tied with Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, and Ashton Genty. Now, Genty you kind of get because the Raiders suck, but like that is wild. Lawrence runs a lot. The Bills give up a ton of rushing yards, and I think he will find the end zone. If you're betting him individually, sprinkle 2 Lawrence rushing touchdowns. And then Saquon Barkley, 4 games of Philly in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not going to read all the numbers. You remember seeing them last year. But more importantly, San Francisco's defense, the last, when we go back we'll go back 4 weeks. 5.2 yards per carry to the Seahawks, a touchdown to Zach Charbonnet, longs of 20 and 27 to Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, respectively. 5.4 yards per carry to the Bears, 2 rushing touchdowns, longs of 22 and 18 to DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, respectively. And then they gave up a Jonathan Taylor touchdown. The week before that, Tony Pollard, 14 carries, 104 yards and a touchdown, a long of 22 plus a long of 20 to Spears. If Saquon Barkley gets in the open field, he's not getting caught. He's going to score. So we like Barkley. And then what we're going to do is we take those 3 guys and we're going to tack on Devontae Adams, the red zone gold from Los Angeles. He is going to get back in the end zone. Now that he's healthy off the hamstring, would have played last week, but they didn't need him. Didn't want to rush him back. Needed for the playoffs. We're going to put those 4 guys together and we're going to tack on that beautiful, whatever the boost was. I don't know what the boost was, but BetMGM had a boost available. I tacked it on 42-1. Loveland, Lawrence, Barkley, Adams, 0.3 units to win 13 units and really have a party over the weekend.
It's like it links Patterson and Will Brinson. You love golf. It's like hitting a golf outright.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I got so excited I shook my desk and now I'm blurry.
So speaking of moving 10 cents, I had Trevor Lawrence on the Monday show over 1.5 touchdown passes at plus 110. That best number was at BetMGM. It's now plus 100. That's the best number you can get. So Trevor Lawrence probably in for a big game. Hopefully he gets that rushing touchdown and a couple passing touchdowns, but perhaps that's asking for a little bit. Do we hand up if we have anything before we need to get to the recap screen? Go ahead, Buckets.
I've got one thing that's worth throwing to Chip. Andrew Sinek's question talking about Fiorentina. Chip, they're coming back 2 wins now in their last 3 games. They got AC Milan in their next match day over the weekend. Do you think that's worth touching in any capacity, or is this a little back to reality they go?
Yeah. They're going to get – and it was something, too, about they had the 2-1 lead at Lazio, and they just bubble gutsed it and gave up a PK in the 95th minute. So it's very much like a, all right, wait, easy. It's nice that, like – it's nice they're up to 18th, but let's not think that they're going to be taking out Milan. Their common opponent in their last 5 matches, I think, is Verona. Milan beat them 3-0, and if I remember correctly, Fiorentina lost 2-1. So,
hey, Chip. Speaking of Serie A, would you like to give a shout out to the Forza Football champion of 2020, 2025, 2024?
That would be Devil's Avocado.
That's right, baby. Suck it, Fernelli. Took your league down, beat Fernelli in the final fantasy football finals.
Yeah. The Forza Football League.
It's
a very, very serious league run by prominent Italians.
Yeah. Tom Fernelli is like low-key the best fantasy football commissioner on the planet, though. He's unbelievable.
Did you ever see when my team, which is called Pepper's Transcript, for Julius Pepper's North Carolina Transcript, which was amazing when it leaked out. And there's another team called Italian Sausage. So when our teams play each other, if you look at the scoreboard, it says Sausage.
Like
Do you guys want to spend another 10 minutes talking about your fantasy football league?
We will. Listen, this is
we have time.
This is Ben's fault. He invited me.
You asked Chip about Serie A. Like, I didn't know Chip watched Serie A. I'm like 5 miles from Chip right now, and I didn't know he watched Serie A.
Yeah.
Ty says Jacoby Myers anytime touchdown. We might talk some anytime touchdowns on that prop show as well. I like Jacoby Myers. I think that number is plus 210 unless it's moved. And no, it's plus 200. No, plus 210, I think. Jacoby Parker Washington in that range as well. I like both of those guys. And especially if you're playing DFS, we talked about both of those guys as well. Check out Fantasy Football Today DFS with me, Mike McLaurin, Meg Schaup. All right. That's enough promoing. It's enough picks. Go ahead, Chip.
I really think that we got to give a shout out to the Mark Fletcher longest run conversation. We saw on the recap screen, Mark Fletcher obviously blew past it like 133 yards to get over 88.5 for Tom Casale. But remember, Mike also was dialed into that one as well. He said, I love that long run for Mark Fletcher last night, 19 yards. So whether you got it at 15.5, 16.5, or 17.5, that was another good shot. I mean, the lines are so tight for some of these games. I love being able to find those kind of angles, and I think that applies to the NFL playoffs as well.
I don't think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's pretty wild. Like I was looking at the over-unders for the Jaguars. Parker Washington has the highest receiving yards total of him, Jacoby Myers, and Brian Thomas, which if you said that before the season, I don't think anybody would believe that.
Yeah, and then you look at the game logs just the last 4 or 5 weeks, Parker Washington absolutely crushing.
He's been fantastic. Yeah.
BTJ is all of a sudden like their weakest receiver. Like that really come on since they got Myers and Washington.
I don't think there's any question he's their weakest receiver, at least right in this moment. In terms of Trevor's trust to Brenton Strange, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, it is larger than that of BTJ.
I do have like a little spidey sense that like if the Jaguars make a run in the playoffs, and I think it's very possible that the Jaguars could go to the Super Bowl, that we kind of see some BTJ splash plays along the way. Just thought.
All right, fair enough. I mean, I think a lot of these AFC teams are live to go to the Super Bowl. All right, I think we need to get out of here. I do want to give Chris Kish a happy birthday wish. It's his birthday, 41st birthday tomorrow. So many of you have been in here for so many years, and Chris Kish is one of those people. If you're new to this show, hopefully you'll be in here for the next several years as well, like Chris has been, and people like Richard Pierre and Big Cheesy and Jeff Stenberg. There's so many. Steven is in here, Eric David, of course. All of you are family to this show. So anytime anybody has a birthday, we want to know about it. Happy birthday, Chris Kish. All right, let's get to our recap screen. A lot of picks. These are picks from me from earlier in the week. Saquon Barkley over 18.5 rush attempts at -122, and Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdown passes at +110. Again, that number now anywhere between even money and -110. As I mentioned on Monday, I don't mind those numbers either. Indiana, Oregon, first half under 23.5, -105 from Chip Patterson. He also likes Indiana fourth quarter -0.5 at even money. Then we go to buckets. Wrexham AFC versus Nottingham Forest. Both teams to score -125. Brasco, Chargers +3.5, -110. And 49ers Eagles under 44.5, also at -110. We go to a lot of picks from Will Brinson. Indiana -3.5 at -110 from college football tonight. Then we go to the NFL. Rams -10.5, -105. Chargers Pats under 46.5, -112. Jags +1.5, -120. Don't forget about that anytime touchdown parlay he gave out with the boost at 42-1. From Tuesday, we've got another pick on the Chargers +3.5. This one courtesy of Brady and Jeff Hockman. We go to DeAndre Swift over 59.5 rushing yards, -115 from Larry Hartstein. And then Jalen Hurts over 1.5 touchdown passes at even money. That one from RJ White. Don't forget, there's also an NFL show that is out with RJ, Claudia, Will Brinson, of course, and Larry Hartstein. So go check that out in your feed. Our producer pick, it's also his 1-year anniversary. Oregon team total under 22.5, -110. That one, of course, from the esteemed Ben Wittenstein. Go Hoosiers, he says, and go Chicago Bears.
Maybe the best CBS Sports producer that we've had ever. And I want to make sure that you clip that and send it to Debo.
Yes, I think.
Who was Will's producer?
I was wondering where that was going. Okay.
I think Ben's better than Debo. I would say to Debo's face.
Wow. Fair enough.
You gotta have a talk with Debo after. See, I had a final thought about the Jaguars. I think they're only +1.5 because Josh Allen is on the Bills. I think they deserve to be the favorites. What are your guys' thoughts about a Jags +7.5, Chargers +8.5 teaser? That feels nice.
So I would rather do the +7.5, maybe just as a straight up alt line as opposed to a teaser. I say that to say this, maybe take the Eagles money line so that you're not teasing the Eagles. You're just taking them down to money line or under 3, like get that 2.5 number. You'll probably get a decent return if you get to the 7.5 and the -2.5.
That could be a nice emotional hedge because I'll be rooting against the Eagles. So that's how you bet. Hedge your hat.
I'm always rooting against the Eagles. I just don't see outs. There's so few outs. This feels like Brinson. This feels like a gut shot straight draw for the 49ers.
Yeah, it's like the Eagles aren't going to do the stuff on offense that you need them to do. Like to beat the Seahawks in Week 18, they needed Sam Darnold to do Sam Darnold stuff, and you're just probably not going to get that from Philly because they're going to pound the ball, take a couple deep shots to AJ Brown, and then like do some fake touchdown stuff to Dallas Goedert down by the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Who is also questionable right now. I got to check in on him, but I see his
and like Danny pointed out earlier, but the way this game swings and the reason the line is moved like this is because Lane Johnson's looking like he's probably going to play, and Trent Williams might not be able to play. Like those two guys are all due respect to Brock Purdy and to Jalen Hurts, those two guys are the two most important players on their football teams.
They're the two best tackles in football, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no question about it.
All right. I want to continue to give out some shout outs. Charlie Kennedy, Jen is in the chat. Lydia is in the chat. Get in the SportsLine Discord. I think everybody understands. Most of the people in the chat are already SportsLine members. If you're not, sportsline.com/join. Promo code winners get 60% off the annual plan. That gives you the SportsLine Discord for free. Jen says, Brinson's final appearance on SportsLine. Been nice knowing you. Jen knows what's up. All right. I think we got to finally get out of here. Thank you, Danny Brasco. Thank you, Buckets. Thank you, Brinson. Thank you, Chip Patterson. And again, another happy anniversary. It was just a couple of days ago. It was Ben's 1-year anniversary, not just on the Early Edge, but with CBS, because he does so much more than just this show. But what a great show. And there's only one way to close it. We went really long. We don't normally go this long. But Buckets, if you don't mind, can you close the show?
I don't have the attention span for a 50-minute show. I forgot where I was about 20 minutes ago, so I apologize if I look glazed over. That's the millennial in me, I guess. Sure, Sia, back to you. I forget what you asked. It's been a long morning.
Chip,
You know the law.
Oh,
Subscribe.
rest our case.